With the ceasefire deadline only days away, Israel reportedly asked for more time for its troops to withdraw from Lebanon.
A once-in-a-lifetime storm has forced authorities to issue severe weather warnings in the UK and Ireland this Friday.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked U.S. President Donald Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. The order was signed among a slew of other orders on Inauguration Day. Trump's administration argues that children born in the United States to non-citizen parents are not subject to U.S. jurisdiction. U.S. District Judge John Kuhnauer says the order was so blatantly unconstitutional and blocked it for 14 days. The decision came during the first hearing in a multi-state effort challenging the order, and the ruling was welcomed.
This is fairly simple. This has been expressly determined by the United States Supreme Court, and Congress and multiple executives have looked at it and agreed. And so I was not surprised to see Judge Kuhnauer sort of dismiss the absurdity of the order and the absurdity of the president's action.
So we're in a good place.
Immigration attorneys believe Trump wants to end birthright citizenship as a possible deterrent for illegal migration. They say that the order, even if passed, will not affect immigration.
There's so much economic opportunity and freedom that's available in the United States. That's such a pull factor for immigrants around the world that they can hope for their children to have a better life in the United States, whether or not those children are U.S. citizens. I'm not sure that birthright citizenship is a big factor in many people's minds when they decide to migrate.
The 47th U.S. president is persistent and has vowed to fight the judge's ruling.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
If the order is deemed a constitutional change, it'll likely be a very lengthy process to reform. Any constitutional changes in the United States must be agreed upon by 3/4 of all states and then approved by 2/3 of both chambers of Congress, the House and the Senate.
US President Donald Trump has claimed that the war in Ukraine could be brought to an end by a fall in the price of oil. Speaking via video link at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump said he would ask OPEC to lower the price of oil, suggesting economic measures rather than military aid could be the key to ending the conflict.
If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. Our efforts to secure a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine are now hopefully underway. It's so important to get that done. That is an absolute killing field. Millions of soldiers are being killed. Nobody's seen anything like it since World War II.
OPEC consists of 12 oil-rich countries whose sheer heft as a bloc means they can dramatically affect the price of oil by ramping production up or down. However, the plausibility of Trump's strategy is unclear. Russia has weathered a multitude of US and European sanctions since its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Iran, meanwhile, is both a member of OPEC and a Russian ally and may push back against Trump's proposed plan. In a statement, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov also rebuffed Trump's proposal, saying a settlement in Ukraine would not be possible by a drop in oil prices.
At least 3 people have died following an overnight Russian drone attack on Kyiv on Friday. According to Ukraine's State Emergency Service, drone fragments hit a 10-story apartment, causing fire and destruction on several floors. The attack also damaged several private houses, a shop, and 3 vehicles. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed that Putin and Zelensky share equal blame for the war.
No.
You know, if he's no angel, he shouldn't have allowed this war to happen. First of all, he's fighting a much bigger entity, okay? Much bigger. When he was, talking so brave and so... Now, 2 things happened. They were brave, but we gave them billions of dollars
The United States spent $200 billion more than Europe. Why did we spend more? You know why? Because Biden never asked Europe to spend more.
In the interview, Donald Trump also reiterated his intention to heavily sanction Russia if a deal is not reached to end the war. Zelensky has held several meetings with European leaders in recent weeks about the possibility of sending NATO peacekeeping troops to Ukraine in the event of a peace deal. Russia, however, has strongly opposed this prospect, saying it would lead to uncontrolled escalation.
Should the EU fund hard borders? This is the topic that was at the heart of the debate at the European Parliament on Thursday. The issue has been discussed many times in the past. The EU's Commission position is that it does not provide financial assistance for the construction of barriers or fences, although it can fund border protection capabilities and infrastructure, such as cameras and surveillance systems. With migration back on the agenda due to the hybrid attacks by Russia and Belarus on the European borders and elections in many member states, the debate is back.
I think it would be more than needed to have certain investments coming from the EU side because it's very expensive. The countries having a border with those aggressive states, they simply overspend their budget protecting other member states. So that's why it should be a sense of solidarity, like in case of accepting refugees.
But for many MEPs, funding fences and walls symbolizes a change in the EU's identity.
We strongly oppose EU financiation for fences in the external borders of the European Union. We understand that there are borders and they are to be protected, but fairly and in a good balance, not only strengthening external borders, but also cooperating fairly with countries in transit of origin, opening up legal pathways, and of course understanding the EU commitment to fundamental rights and human rights, which are also to protect migrants and asylum seekers for that matter.
Many member states, such as Poland, have recently switched opinion and now support the idea of funding barriers. With the change in composition of the European Parliament towards the far right, the decision to approve financing hard borders now seems more likely.
Israel reportedly asked the US for a further 30 days to withdraw from southern Lebanon, only days ahead of the 60-day deadline stipulated in the ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah. The news comes as Israel claims the terms of the ceasefire with Hezbollah were not being implemented quickly enough. Meanwhile, the Iran-backed militant group called for increased pressure to ensure Israeli forces withdraw by Monday, as outlined in the agreement. The deal requires Israeli troops to withdraw from southern Lebanon, for Hezbollah to remove fighters and weapons from the area, and that Lebanese troops deploy in the region. However, Israel claims that the Lebanese army has deployed too slowly and that they continue to find Hezbollah weapons caches. Hezbollah said in a statement that Israel postponing its withdrawal would be unacceptable and an infringement on Lebanese sovereignty.
A once-in-a-lifetime storm is ripping across the UK and Ireland this Friday, with the severe weather warnings being issued to citizens. 2 rare red weather warnings are in place in Ireland and Scotland, meaning there is a risk to life. In Ireland, a record gust of 135 kilometers per hour was recorded at the west coast on Friday morning. These images show the streets of Galway flooded overnight. Government mobile phone warnings have urged citizens to stay home. Over 700,000 homes are without power in Ireland. Travel has also been heavily disrupted, with roads blocked by fallen trees and rail services halted. Flights have been cancelled in Belfast, Dublin, Edinburgh and London. Scientists have said the rapid intensification of Storm Éowyn barreling in from the Atlantic Ocean may possibly be linked to climate change.
The French-made Spanish-language Emilia Perez dominated this year's Oscar nominations, leading the pack with 13 nominations.
Are you English? No, I'm not English. Why? No, because you...
The film set an Oscar record for a non-English language film, and its leading actress, Carla Sofia Gascon, became the first openly transgender performer to be nominated in her category.
Something has changed within me.
Another musical, Wicked, also scored big with 10 nominations, including for Best Picture and both actress categories for its stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Other expected leading nominees include The Brutalist, Anora, Conclave, and A Complete Unknown.
Go find someone else. I'm not a trophy wife.
You're gonna ruin your life if you don't marry me.
The Apprentice, one of the year's more audacious films dramatizing the formative years of President Donald Trump, landed a more surprising pair of nominations for its leading actors, Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong. In the directing category, the Substance filmmaker Coralie Farja managed to crack into an otherwise all-male group.
I'm fine.
With 5 weeks to go until the Oscar ceremony, at least 4 or 5 movies, including The Brutalist, Emilia Perez, Anora, Conclave, and Wicked, are seen having a shot at Best Picture.